we go to Washington.
Why?
Now that the shutdown's over and everyone's back to work except those who are on SNAP.
What?
Speaking of, the Agriculture Secretary just came out and said for those currently on the program, you must reapply,
Hold up.
requalify, and
Wait a minute.
state a damn good reason why you should stay on the program. You know, because there was not like abuse or anything going on.
You're kidding.
Anyway, I'm Jez Berganzo on this, and for those on social media screaming and yelling, where's my SNAP? Where's my SNAP? Well, if you don't qualify, there goes your SNAP.
Damn!
But it's what's next.
And here we go.
What's up, everyone? Jez Berganzo, what's next? Your daily dose. If you guys are feeling good today on this Saturday. Yes, a rare Saturday edition indeed. But I think this one's necessary. Anyway, the shutdown. Now that it's over, you know, Trump signed it. We're good to go. Everyone's back to work. You know, TSA workers to, you know, air traffic controllers to IRS agents. Well, IRS agents, you kind of hope they would still, you know, be out of work. Anyway, what about those who are not working? You know, those who are on the SNAP program. Yes, that lovely program that doles out millions of dollars to those families and people in need for one reason or for another. Either, you know, mentally disabled, physically disabled, or just being fucking lazy. Well, we're going to focus on the lazy. Because the Agriculture Secretary just came out and said for those who are on the program currently, you must reapply, requalify, and state a damn good reason why you should stay on the program, because, you know, this program like hasn't been abused or anything for the last, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 years. Anyway, here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. Rollins, next step is to make everyone reapply for SNAP to ensure integrity. And that is the Agriculture Secretary, AG Secretary, Brooke Rollins, who was on Newsmax, who basically gave you the skinny, the lowdown, the 411 on why those are on the SNAP. Yeah, you need to reapply or your ass is going to get snapped out.
The Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins joins us now to talk more about the numbers, and it's good to see you again, Madam Secretary. What we've found out so far, I assume, is just the beginnings of an investigation into these programs, right?
Well, yeah, let me slightly adjust, and I've got actually big news for you, Rob. First, on day one when I was sworn in, which was earlier this year in February, the very first thing I did was send letters to every single state in America and said, never before has the federal government asked for the data, but it is a new day. President Trump is the president. We know there's a lot of fraud. We need to help partner with you all to figure out how to make sure that this money and these benefits go to those who truly need it and not rife with fraud and corruption. 29 states, mostly the red states, responded with their data sets February, March, April. So the numbers...
No. 29 mostly red states said, you know what? Here's the data. Here's the waste, fraud, and abuse. Here's what's going on. Help us fix it? No. Really?
That you're talking through, those are numbers that we have been collecting and analyzing since early summer, late spring. The fact that this spotlight shined on SNAP has allowed us to talk about it. But here's the most unbelievable news I have really just over the last few days, that 5,000 dead people, that was just 1 month. The number is closer to 186,000 deceased men and women and children in this country are receiving a check. Now, that is what...
No, are you telling me that dead people are receiving checks? You know, like dead people are on the voter rolls? No, that never happens.
What we're really going to start clamping down on. 500,000 are getting 2. But here's the really stunning thing. This is just...
500,000 are getting 2 checks. Those who are deceased getting 2 checks of your taxpayer money and my taxpayer money. Nice.
Data from those 29 mostly red states. Can you imagine when we get our hands on the blue state data, what we're going to find? It's going to give us a platform and
if they give it to you at all. If they give it to you at all.
Trajectory to fundamentally rebuild this program, have everyone reapply for their benefit, make sure that everyone that's taking a taxpayer-funded benefit through SNAP or food stamps, that they literally are vulnerable and they can't survive without it. And that's the next step here.
So you're telling me that...
Yes, because they must prove that they're not lazy mother and they actually, need the assistance, because they can't get a job or anything because they just don't feel like it. Nah.
500,000 people are getting 2 checks. And let me start with, are those checks being cashed? And then as far as the dead people, are those
I
checks
bet you they
being
are.
cashed? Or are
I
they
bet
just
you
being
they
sent
are.
out and
That's
the money comes
correct.
back?
No, the way that the program works is through the EBT cards, electronic benefit. So the checks don't really move. Instead, every state government we give the states the money, the states administer the program, which is why every state is so different, and the states then flow the money into
there's
those
no uniformity.
cards. So it is
None.
those cards that are full that either the person's dead or they're getting it twice. We found one guy in 6 states, the same guy, the same Social Security number, getting the same benefit in 6
Son of a bitch.
different states and 6 different EBT cards. So these are the things that we're uncovering that for years no one's really ever dug into because the feds didn't have the system in place to do it, but we do now. The president has made this a priority. We will fix this program.
Does anybody that's doing fraudulent things they should be removed from the program at a minimum? Off. You're done. You can't get back on. Are there charges that are going to be filed? It sounds like we have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people committing fraud against the U.S. government.
Absolutely.
That's right. In just the last few months, we've arrested about 120 Americans committing fraud on the system.
120. I was hoping to hear 120,000, but you got to start somewhere.
One ring was up in the Northeast. I believe it was New Jersey, where it was about a 16.
Gee, New Jersey, that wonderful state that just voted in that socialist as governor. Man, coincidence.
$1 million SNAP fraud ring. You actually have some of the cartels, the criminal cartels, who have figured out, not necessarily from Mexico, but from around the world, that have figured out how to infiltrate into the system, into the certain state systems that are out there. And we are actively, with the DOJ, with a lot of the other investigation units around the country, already arresting. There's a lot of people already sitting in jail, but I think we're just at the very tip of the iceberg and what we're going to find.
Wow. I didn't want to read it. I just wanted to let the AG secretary, pretty much, throw it out there for you. But wow. The same guy using the same social security number in 6 different states getting EBT benefits. Unbelievable. You shouldn't be. No, no, I'm not. It's not unbelievable. It should be no surprise. It should be no shock to anyone that this abuse and waste has gone on, not just under the Trump years, but has been going on for decades. So you got those who actually have EBT, who are actually buying, cookies, cakes, candy, soda. So instead of actually buying, I don't know, meat, fish, vegetables, bread, for themselves, for their children. No. They are using it. Actually, stores are allowing that program to be used to buy the most shittiest of the foods for their children. You've had those who have been on the program who have racked up tens of thousands of dollars on their program, yet they've got a $1,000 cell phone and they're riding around in a 2025 Caddy. But there's no abuse going on here. Not at all. No. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And if the AG secretary can pull this off and say, not only you must reapply, you must requalify and state damn good reasons, but also guess what? Your ass is going back to work. Your ass is doing a minimum of 20 hours a week to hold on to those programs, to hold on to those benefits, because if not, you're cut off automatically. But it's going to take a lot of manpower to try to pull this off, especially in those blue states who are going to be either hesitating, shall I say, or unwilling to give up that information to fork over that data that 29 Republican states have given over. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, the abuse of this shit has gone on way too long, and this shit must be fucking squashed. But just go on TikTok and listen to all those who are screaming and yelling I've got my snapback. I've got my snapback. You know, while they're running around with $1,000 cell phones and 2025 cars. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll see you next time. Peace.